Here we are at the London Knitting and Stitching Show in Alexandra Palace, which is affectionately called Ali Pali, which I think is so cute. So today I am interviewing Madeira ambassadors, and I'm so excited because we have a brand new ambassador. Welcome, Lauren.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so tell us your full name and tell us what you do as a maker.
So my name is Lauren Tedstone, and as a maker I am very much a dressmaker. I started as a self-taught sewist, and now I probably am nearly 90% of my garments made by myself, if not secondhand. So yeah, I sew a lot.
Okay, so what do you love to create the most?
So one of the things I love to create the most are things that I see within fast fashion or in high fashion, high street kind of trends, and I like to replicate those in a handmade way. So I love to source patterns that are similar to ones that I've seen within the shops and then put my own little spin on it.
Yeah, and since you are a brand new ambassador, I mean, I'm not going to ask you all the threads you've been using because you're just starting out. So what are you excited about trying with Madeira thread?
I think I'm excited to try the quality of the thread. I am a big advocate for, if I am sewing something, I want it to be the highest quality that it can be. So that includes fabric, but it also includes a lot of haberdashery items. So having a high quality thread, I think, is just so important.
Okay, and sustainability is important to you as well, right?
Sustainability is very important. There are enough clothes on this planet to clothe the next 7 generations. So therefore, although I am contributing to that through my sewing, I like to really make a capsule kind of wardrobe with my makes and make sure that there's a level of versatility with everything that I make. So it may be just a white shirt, but I will be styling it 4 different ways, or I'll be wearing it X amount of times in a week. So there's definitely still a level of sustainability within my makes.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about your story as a sewist and dressmaker?
Yeah, of course I can. So my story probably starts a fair few years ago, where I was gifted a machine from my grandmother. At the time I thought it was a very random gift to receive. I wasn't actually into sewing, had never sewn before, but I've always been very creative. So my children were then born, I was seeing them being thrown into all these creative settings, and essentially I got a bit jealous. So I thought I will pick that skill up, and I wanted to make a quilt for my babies, and I basically just taught myself how to make this quilt. Lockdown happened, I had more time, and here we are.
So if you could say something to your community that was, you know, an inspiration you usually share, what would it be?
My inspirational quote that I love to share, and I say it to my children as well, is practice doesn't make perfect, it makes improvements. So every time you sit at that sewing machine and you try something, if it hasn't gone perfectly well, just take a step back and look at how you've improved since the last time that you've sewn, and also just enjoy the process. This is a fun element of our day, and let's not get too bogged down. So just have fun.
Yeah. So over the years, you've become very familiar with all kinds of threads. So if you had a thread tip for everyone, what would it be?
Ooh, my thread tip would be, now this could be a bit of a weird one, but I think my top tip is to buy bigger spools in your go-to colours. For me, I dress very neutrally, so I find it better to have a bigger spool of those neutral colours. And my other top tip is to always wind 2 bobbins at a time, because there is nothing worse than running out of a bobbin halfway through.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, that's a great tip. Then you have to take it from the top and bring it to the bottom. Yeah, so good. Okay, so along your creative journey, what's something that you've been really proud of?
Along my creative journey, I would say my journey is very much beginning, which is wild to think. I'm only 5 years into sewing, but I would say one of the biggest things was going on TV and showing everyone these skills and doing the Great British Sewing Bee. So
absolutely,
that was me pushing myself to realise that you can achieve anything, and that sometimes it's not actually the skill that you lack, but it's the confidence. So I really pushed myself out there, and I did something that I'm really proud of.
I watched every episode.
Did you?
So,
oh, good.
So now I need to ask you, how did you find out that you were chosen for the show?
So the application process is quite extensive. I was watching the show. I had been watching that season as it was on, and at the end they said, if you would like to be part of this, just send us this application form. So I just sat next to my husband and I filled it in. I didn't think anything of it. I just thought, oh, this would be nice to just think about the things that I've sewn. And I had a call back, which I still cannot believe. and clearly they saw something that at the time I didn't, because I could not believe that I'd actually got that call back.
Wow.
So it was an amazing achievement, even for my own personal growth, and yeah, I'm very proud of myself.
Yeah, and so did you have to go somewhere for several weeks and tape over time? How did it work?
Yeah, so the filming is quite intensive. It's filmed over a period of time. The way TV works, it's always a few months before that anyone sees it, so you're very much sworn to secrecy. We go and move near location, so I moved away from my family and my children, which was again quite hard, but it was one of the best experiences that I've ever done, so no regrets.
Well, such a huge achievement to even be on the show, but how did you feel about how you did in the end?
You've seen my last episode, and I cried a lot. I cried a lot, but I think, I hope it came across that they were tears of absolute pride in myself. I think as an adult, sometimes you forget to be proud of yourself and proud of what you have achieved. So I didn't anticipate getting on. So to leave as a quarter finalist still blows my mind.
Yeah.
So I'm still very proud of myself, and I think we need to be advocates for our own success sometimes.
Absolutely.
We can do it for other people, we don't do it for ourselves. So yeah.
Wonderful. It's so nice to hear these bits of the story, especially as a fan of that show, of course.
Oh, brilliant.
So what's coming soon for you? What are you excited about?
So I've got so many plans, I've got so many ideas. I think the sewing community in general is just such a blessing, and it came to me at a time that I needed it. So I felt quite isolated with a motherhood. I had two very young children, a husband that worked away. I threw myself into this community. So if anything, all I want to do is give back to that community. So I do a lot of workshops now. I teach beginners. I'm in the process of setting up local events as well, just to get that online community into a physical space. I think will just be revolutionary.
Okay, so Lauren, let's end off by telling everyone, where can we find you online on social media?
Oh, of course. So my Instagram handle is Made by Lauren Tedstone, which is my name. So that should be quite easy. And yeah, along all socials, that's it. Made by Lauren Tedstone.
Well, thank you so much for sharing a little bit of your story today.
Thanks for having me.